Hey guys, and welcome to a very impromptu episode of an honest review. So I was not gonna review this. First of all, welcome. If you don't know my channel, I do reviews for products that I personally buy. They're mostly for running or for the outdoors, anything in the middle, survivalism and that kind of stuff. That's what I'm into, endurance. I don't get paid by any brand, so pretty much I buy whatever catches my attention, and that also my budget decides how many videos you get. Anyway, point is that I was not gonna post a review on this because I thought it was a little bit far away from what I do in this channel, but something happened and I'm compelled to do a little review. So today we're gonna be reviewing Nike's Alphafly. So the Alphafly is a shoe that was developed by Nike in order to pursue the world record for a marathon under 2 hours. So of course the premise of this shoe is to be crazy fast and to be crazy light. That is the premise of the shoe. It also triggered what is now called, quote unquote, the super shoe era. If you follow running, actually recently there has been athletes that have been disqualified after winning marathons because of the stack of the shoe, right? Some of shoes are, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these shoes start to get banned from different competitions as we start to get into this point in which technology actually creates a advantage for the athlete, right? So, of course, crazy light. Just quick note, I changed the shoelaces for elastic shoelaces. For my long distance shoes, everything above running for 2 hours. I'm not going to talk about distance because I think that's up to everybody what they can accomplish in 2 hours. But whenever I'm going to be running for more than 2 hours, I like elastic shoelaces because then it has a little bit of give and it still keep my foot pretty locked in. And it avoids the discomfort that it happens sometimes when you start to swell up and then, your shoelaces are suddenly too tight, right? So these are not the factory shoelaces, right? They come in with a regular pair of shoelaces that matches the colors of the shoe. Anyway, so lightness, right? They're extremely light, right? The foam that they use and the technology that they use, that it's Zoom X, is extremely lightweight. It's meant to have a lot of absorption in terms of cushioning, right? Even when you buy them new, you actually see these wrinkles, right? Like even when they're new, these are of course used, but even when they're new, you can see these wrinkles there because it's just the material, right? So don't be afraid if you see pictures online or you try to get them and you see them wrinkled. Oh, are they used? No, that's just the way they are. So very, very light. The upper they're proprietary atom knit. So it's basically this type of mesh. I really like it. If you, in my channel, I don't know the order in which the videos are going to be posted, but if on my channel you look at the Salomon S-Lab, that one is very plasticky versus this one that it's a little bit more, let's say, soft to the touch, right? And it has this a little bit more protection in the toe. It has like a little bit of a toe cap. So pretty good. What I really like is that they do have a lot of material here in the back. So your heel is very well locked in. And also they have some cushioning here as well that helps locking in your shoe, right? So that way when you don't feel your heel is coming out when you're running really fast. So really, really cool. A couple of other things too is that this has a carbon plate. There's a lot of shoes out there that has carbon plate, but in this one, it's actually visible. Right, let me catch the light here. That is a carbon plate, right? You can see the carbon plate right there. The whole point of the carbon plate is to offer energy return. See? That's the whole point of a carbon plate. So the fastest shoes right now on the market have a carbon plate, right? We see how they have a little bit of a thread here, some ribs to have a little bit more grip because this is where you take off from the forefoot, and then a little bit less aggressive here in the back, which is just your regular foot strike, right? The drop is a lot. So these are meant to be heel striker shoes. Even if I'm a forefoot runner or a midfoot runner, and when I run in these ones, then I tend to heel strike nonetheless because that's how the geometry of the shoe is made of. You can actually see it really nicely here, right? I another thing that catches your attention right now probably is these capsules, right? These capsules is the Air Max capsules that started to be very popular by Nike back in the 90s, maybe. But this is the Zoom. This is the Air Zoom, which is different than the Just Nike Air. So I'm gonna try to see. So it has some filaments in the middle. So when it compresses, these filaments that are inside. I'm not really sure if we can see this or not. Maybe a little bit. So they help the capsule to return into its shape. So we have a couple of things here. So we have these filaments inside with the air capsule, the foam itself, and the carbon plate gives you the best energy return you can without losing the cushioning that you need for long miles. That's a principle. Now, they are fast shoes. So you see here the arch is quite narrow, right? When we think about our foot, it's basically divided, let's say, in two parts, right? The forefoot and then the heel part, right? So it's supposed to be a spring, right? Like that's how we were designed. We were designed to actually run more of a midfoot, forefoot runner, because then you engage the springs. Is the system that starts with this part of the ball of your foot, right? It goes into the muscles in the arch, and because it's slightly flexed, it also engages your muscles in the lower leg, right? Which is the gastrocnemius or the calves and the tibialis anterior. This in turn creates another little spring that is that at the joint of the knee, right? So that's how, if you imagine your leg is a huge spring that starts with a touch of the ball of your foot and then back, right? So this, of course, it's made to optimize that natural spring as well, which is what the shape of the shoe, it's a little bit of like an hourglass, right? So this takes a lot of time to get used to, because you also need to break in a little bit the material in the arch so your foot falls a little bit naturally, and you're gonna feel like you have something stuck in the arch. It gets better over time, but just, I guess that's something to get used to, right? It is fast. It is a fast shoe. I have a good friend of mine that described it best. It feels like they're pushing you forward, right? So these are running shoes, right? Like I wouldn't use this shoe for anything else other than running. Don't use this for lifting. Don't use this for cross training. I mean, if you're into fashion and you want to have like this just because they look okay, cool. I don't think they're very comfortable to just be, I mean, they are comfortable, but like I would feel weird just walking around in these all day. I use them just for running, and I did, of course, wear them. I usually, tip. Every time I get a new pair of shoes, I start to break them in by using them around the house for a full day. I don't run in them right away, unless that's part of the test that I want to do. But anyway, or if it's like I have a lot of shoes that it's my second or my third pair because I really like it, and then I just go and run in them. But I usually break them in like that, right? So this is a shoe that, if you're looking for maximum cushioning, sure, but there are better options out there that are less expensive, because this shoe retails for $275. So Hoka is a great option. They have a lot of cushioning. They have with or without carbon plate, and their shape is a little bit more natural, or more, let's say, forgiving, right? It's not as aggressive. So if you want maximum cushioning and that's all you want, I would suggest go with another option. However, if what you want to do is go fast, maybe you're working towards a PR, then yeah, this is a great option, right? I wouldn't consider these shoes for anything under a half marathon. I mean, they do make a difference every single run. I will say that they do. Like I just came back and ran my fastest 5K in a while. Part of it is training, but I'm sure that the shoe helped a little bit. Not in shaving time off, but giving me that aggressive stride, right? Like it's not gonna get my times better just on itself, but it also gives me that aggressive run, because like I said, the whole shoe is made to make you have some propulsion, which brings me to the next point. These shoes are for strong runners, right? If you're starting to run and you feel like, oh, well, I'm just doing 10Ks and I mean, this shoe is going to help me get faster. Sure. But if your training is not on par to having an aggressive stride and an aggressive run, then these shoes are probably going to work against you, because it's going to put a lot more stress on your on your muscles, and you're probably going to run faster at the beginning, but you're going to get very, 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 very tired because it's forcing you to go at a, let's say, faster pace than you're used to, right? So I would say these shoes are more for, somewhat of experienced runners, if that makes sense, right? Intermediate to expert runners, I would say. Now, $275, crazy expensive. And depending on the color, like for example, if you look up the Volt color, which is like this neon green, those things are going like all the way to 450. The black and neon, they go for also like for 50, even $500, depending on your size. If you are like me and you have very common shoe size, forget about it, right? They occasionally go on sale like, Labor Day, Black Friday, Memorial Day, those kind of things. They may go like 20% off. If you're lucky and you have a very big foot, you can probably get them for as low as 220 because they're usually on clearance, those sizes. But yes, I think that this is worth the investment if you're like let's say like a very experienced runner. Now, I've read a lot of reviews online about how these shoes tend to break up easily, right? So I've seen how some posts about how this little piece here in the sole starts to delaminate. I have seen some posts in which it usually starts here and they start to delaminate right there in that corner. Actually, you can see a little bit, right? Right? Again, these are elite shoes, right? This is not your day-to-day trainer. Well, in my case, they are, but like, these are elite shoes, right? But in the end, it doesn't matter, right? They shouldn't break that easy, right? So the reason I'm posting this is because I was a victim of that. Boom. Right there. I don't know if I stepped on a pebble, if I stepped on a rock, but anyway, I ran on the road, right? It's not like I went off trail with this, right? So this is one shoe. Look at this other guy. Boom. Just like that. Chipped away. Right? I don't know. And I have no idea. I just ran in them. Right? So, I mean, fortunately, Nike has very good customer service. I just went on the phone, told them what happened. I said, hey, I didn't have a receipt because, to be honest, I bought these on eBay. Try to get a deal on them. I got them for $225, I think, plus shipping. And they said, sure, send it to us. Now, the downside to not buying them in Nike is that I have to pay for the shipping to get them inspected. They have to get inspected, and then they tell me if they can replace them or not. So you're out of shoes for like 2 weeks because the inspection process, they say, take from 7 to 10 days. Plus the time it takes you to get there, plus when you make your new order, because they give you a voucher back, they don't give you a new shoe, you lose a lot of time in that. So, great shoes. I'm very disappointed in that though. I'm super disappointed. I think that, $200, $275 should get you a shoe that you don't have to think about breaking, if that makes sense. There are some rumors about the new version coming up. Actually, the new version has a little bit of a more aggressive thread in all this part, which seems to be to solve that delaminating issue and also to solve this hole that just happened, because it goes all the way, it covers everything instead of just these 2 points of contact that have the extra layer. I'm assuming that's, like I said, I saw a lot of posts of this breaking, so I'm assuming that's what they're doing. They're just gonna put a new thread on all of this. So I think that I'm gonna send them back, and I think I might hold on to that voucher to see if they release a second version, or honestly just get another shoe, because I'm not gonna go through the hassle of sending these back again if they break. I have a little bit of a wide foot, so it took me a lot to break in that part that I was talking about in the midfoot. So I don't want to go through that hassle again. So I think that I'm just gonna hold on to that voucher and see if I get another pair of the same ones, or just an entirely different, like the Next Percent. The Next Percent, it's quite a very capable shoe. I'm not gonna, break any world records, so I think I can live without all this technology. That's just me. But anyway, this is a very expensive shoe, and if you are into running, I'm sure you have taken a little bit of research, a little bit of attention you have put into these shoes. So I just wanted to drop a quick review from a regular guy that just likes running. I'm not an elite racer by any means. So anyway, that's it. That's the impromptu episode of an honest review. I'll see you next one, and comment, like, tell me what you want to see. See you guys.